Republic of Rwanda is considered one of the cleanest countries in the world. In what ways could Rwanda partner with Jamaica to move in a similar direction?
Well,
it's again, in our case, how we started was here an issue of mindset change. And this can happen anywhere and can even happen better and faster with the partnership. Once there is this mindset change that there are things we can do for ourselves that are beneficial. In fact, to quickly give you an example, in our own country, when we started this program of umuganda, cleaning up and working together and elimination of plastics across our country, and which started way back, more than 15 years ago. We would tell our people and even some leaders that while in Rwanda we have needed the donor communities to provide funds for education, for health, for this in partnership, do we really need any help or any money to just clean our homestead? This is what we... So, yeah, we always saw, when I'm sure everyone, when we were young kids, in our homes, we used to see our mothers or aunties and, doing cleaning up around the homestead. Why don't we do it where we live? Why don't we do it for our country? Why don't we? So you can look at the homestead as a form of our country, with the population as families that inhabit that homestead. So here again, it's a sharing of experience and the best practices, and people locking in onto saying these are things we can do, and they are important and they make sense, and why don't we do them?
Absolutely. Mindset change. Thank you, Mr. President. Mindset change. So, Prime Minister, do you have a view on the Umuganda program, or?
I mean, the simple thing is just to say ditto.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I totally endorse. But just goes back to the point of just being very practical, very deliberate, and just getting things done on a performance-based basis, and recognizing the urgency of the situation. And more than that, recognizing that we have agency. We can do it for ourselves. We should own the problem, and we can do our little part in our little community, which will have an impact nationally, which is the essence of the Umuganda program. Each person doing their part for their community and for their country.
Absolutely, wonderful. So we don't have to wait for Labor Day, Prime Minister. We can do it for ourselves. We can recognize it. Absolutely. We're looking forward to taking our next question from the floor. So welcome, sir.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Donovan Wignall, member of the Partnership Council and president of the MSME Alliance. My question is for President Kagame. What are the major driving forces behind your country's remarkable success in moving its GDP from 6.12 billion in 2010 to 10.38 billion in 2020, over 68% growth?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The major drivers of our GDP have been agriculture, services, manufacturing. Because if you look at agriculture alone, it employs about 70% of our, adult population. And so what we did, therefore, was to try and add value to that, to whatever we are doing, whether it is production of coffee, tea, and in fact, we are in Rwanda, we are food self-sufficient. We even produce just the local consumption. There is sufficient food, and we export to our neighbors. And then we export these high-value crops like coffee, tea, and get money from that. Then tourism, of course, is another part that has been driving our GDP and growing it very fast. Our tourism is necessarily going to be different from, let's say, our neighbors. Maybe it could be different from what you have here, but of course there are always going to be similarities. We are a small country, very densely populated. We have about 450 people per square kilometer. It's a small country, relatively big population. We are 13 plus minus 13 million. So that's already high for a very small country. Just 26, they say it is the size of Maryland. That is 26,338 square kilometers. You pack in 13. So we have to always choose. So in tourism, we have selected high-end tourism. The offering is unique, is precious, so people pay high for it. So tourism, agriculture, manufacturing, the services, all these have driven our economy very fast.
Excellent. And of course, domestic food sufficiency is part of that foundation, exporting at the high end and providing the unique value proposition in respect of tourism. It's wonderful, wonderful for us to learn from.